There on.
And we are live here with Filipino comedian Keith Pedro.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for taking the time to come out here, bro, to the Bay Area and do this with us, man. Really appreciate you, man.
Angelo, my man, thank you for reaching out.
Absolutely.
You know?
Thank you, man. You ever played chess before?
Yes, I've played chess before.
You said your game's weak.
My game is rusty. Chess game weak right now, very rusty. But that doesn't mean I can't pull out some tricks. So we don't know. We don't know.
All good, man. All good. Well, let's get right into it, bro.
Okay.
Basically, the whole premise of it is we're just gonna go and play chess. You can answer the question after you make your move, right?
All right.
And yeah, we'll go right into it, right? So we'll start from the top. What is your name? Where are you from? And what do you do? And it's your move.
Oh man. Okay. So do I make the move first?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I make the move first. All right, there you go. I'm Keith Pedro. I am Filipino comedian. I'm just a comedian. I happen to be Filipino, but I'm from Toronto, Canada, and yeah, I try to make people laugh. That's what I do.
And then this show was inspired by a couple of things. So this book called Your Next 5 Moves, right?
Okay.
Which was inspired by grandmasters in chess that can think upward of 15 moves ahead. And it's kind of a application to business and branding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the second part of it was actually this show called Hot Ones, where they eat chicken wings, they answer questions.
Chicken
right?
wings,
So,
hot.
my question to you is, are you a flats person or a drums person?
Ooh, I would say drums.
And why?
I don't know. I'm more of like, it's like, you ever watch that Chappelle show where he talks about like white people can't dance, but then they can dance to like rock?
Yeah.
I just feel like, I don't know, just I march to the beat of my own drum. So you know what I mean? Like I'm just a guy who likes rhythm, I guess.
Why? That's a great answer.
I don't like things all scattered.
What was it like for you growing up? And it's kind of a 3-part question.
Okay.
In your household, with your family, and in your city.
Ooh,
And it's your move.
okay. All right. So what you did there? Just throwing out bait here. I like what you're doing. He's catfishing. This guy has good. See, Angelo, he moves like a pedophile. No, I'm joking. He just knows how to lure him in. No, I'm joking. No, I'm playing. No. I wouldn't say pedophile. That was a wrong. I would say predator. No, I'm joking. No. Either way, he could get canceled by both terms. But I'm just joking. We gotta watch how we throw these words around. But I like how you lured me in there. That was a nice. The move he did in chess was so good that I forgot the question. No, how was it like growing up in my house?
In your household, in your family, in your city.
My mom was Filipino, but she was Ilocano, so she would speak Tagalog and Ilocano. So I got confused there. So yeah, so you know how that is, right? So when other Filipinos look at you like, you don't speak Tagalog. You don't speak, like, I'm confused. So that was that. So I was kind of like this Filipino that felt like not enough Filipino or too much Filipino. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, cause Tagalog, like those guys are like the pop culture Filipinos. We're like, yeah, we're the farmers, bro. Like we're in the country. Right. So yeah, I always felt kind of at a place with other Filipino peers. But in my house, it was me and my brother, and my mom was just this loud, short, aggressive woman with no emotions and affection. So obviously you got a lot of humor out of that. But my mom would use words like exhibitionist, like, you know what I mean? Like weird words that made no sense to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like one time gallivanting. Like one time I took my shirt off to play basketball and I came home and I was all sweaty. And my mom was like, "Why do you have your clothes off? Are you an exhibitionist?" I'm like, "What does that mean?" But yeah, so like my mom was really funny. As a comedian, my mom was really funny. So she had like like there was this little lack of a better word, but chubby kid, little neighbor chubby kid. And my mom would, subtly just throw jabs at him. And she'd be like, hey, what are you eating? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just subtle jabs. But like that, my mom was funny. So gaining that type of brash, rude humor from my mom was cool growing up. And then growing up in my city was, see, Filipinos in Toronto are now becoming like a community.
I see.
It's like now, like before there was barely. Like, we had like Kuya, shout out to them. You know what I mean? Like, and there was like, not really like a community because there's not a lot of us out here in like California, right? Just fighting over scraps. So now it's starting to build as a community. But in terms of like my city overall, Toronto wasn't really known until like Vince Carter and Drake. You know what I mean? So without that bringing into the pop culture, no one would really know. But again, like, because my city was very multicultural, it wasn't. I felt like I fit in because everybody was just multicultural. Like I got some Trini friends, I got some Jamaican friends, I got some Korean friends, I got some Jewish friends, some Macedonian friends, all kinds, and then obviously Filipino friends. But in Toronto, it's weird because no one really. Everybody wants someone from the city to rep it, but they don't want it in your circle. Does that make sense? It's like that the hate is so much. Like, you tell your boy, like, yo, I'm doing this, I'm out in Cali. They're like, oh, really? You out in Cali? Like did they fly you out there though? Or you like sitting on the couch, bro? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just hate. Yeah. But then you're like, yo, did you hear about the so-and-so who or blah, 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 or like some guy would blow up and you're like, and they don't have no idea who he is. He's like, oh, but he's from Toronto. It's like, yo, that's sick. That's amazing. It's like, but you wouldn't root for your friend. Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like on that shit. It's on that like petty shit. But like, but now it's like, everybody's working together as a community. But that's how I used to be before. Like, I remember I used to show before Drake. I used to show my boys rapping, and then I would play the CD, and I'm like, what do you think of this? It's like, this guy's from New York. Yo, this is sick. And then later on, I'm like, no, I'm joking. He's from Toronto. Like, no, that's all right. It was all right. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because it has to, but
the crab in the bucket mentality.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Sorry, that was a 7-part answer to a 3-part question.
So tell me about, it's almost like a 3-part question, but your parents, siblings, and any other significant people in your life.
In terms of like who I grew up around, like
yeah,
I grew up around a lot of like,
and it's your move.
Yeah, sorry. I grew up around a lot of like OGs and shit, so I had a lot of like older guys like school me on my block and shit. So I was raised by like such street mentality. Does that make sense? Mm. Like, you can never knock a man's hustle if he's fucking people over, but if he's a snitch, then you got to shut that shit down. You know what I mean? So like, I was so, there's so much things that happen in this industry that are so like slimy and shit that people would do in the streets that I would be like, oh, whatever. I know a guy like that. And then people are like, no, but that's wrong, Keith. You can't put. And I was like, oh, I just thought that's the block. You know what I mean? So does that make sense? So I was just numb to certain things and certain nuances. And so that's what it was like growing up, and certain people around me, like, I had a friend of mine who got, he got an STD real quick in life.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So he was also, so my whole life was like, oh man, you got to get them girls. And then he was like, no, trust me, bro. Trust me, it's not worth it. You know what I mean? So like growing up, a lot of people around me were teaching me shit. My older brother was the complete opposite of me. So he don't smoke. He don't, his biggest vice is probably like gambling. You know what I mean? But not even like illegally. Like, he don't even have a book, or like, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, but he was into like, Filipino basketball
I see.
and all that stuff, which is nothing wrong with that and whatever. We just never kind of, I never got into that as much. I know like a lot of my boys got into Filipino ball or just basketball. I always thought like, I'm going to be 5'6". There's no point. You know what I mean? Like I play it for fun, but like to spend money on it and like go to tournaments, I'm like, that's just no. That's when you draw. I got to wake up for 8. One time I was like grade 10 and I was playing ball and they're like, you got to wake up tomorrow at 8 a.m. Got to do it. I was like, no, not on a Saturday after this house party. Are you crazy? my priorities were different.
Who were some people that were significant with you growing up?
Oh, is that okay?
Yeah,
that was part of the question. Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, some of the OGs and stuff around the block. Significant, of course. My mom. My mom was a very powerful woman. My cousin. I have a cousin, Roy. Hope he's listening, but he will. I'll send him this. But he came from the Philippines, right? And that was the first time I saw somebody like who literally had nothing to something. Like he came to Canada like right before high school. So everything was like new sneakers were dope to him. And like, I just saw this new life, like how grateful he was for everything. And like, you know, and he kind of like opened my eyes to like how it was. And then until I actually went back home and then I saw it myself and I was just like, yo, we got so much. And it sparks your motivation because you're like, yo, there's people who look like me who have no opportunity at all to do what I'm doing. And here I'm sitting on my ass when there's a mic out there that I can jump on and I can just show my voice and just rip it up for that dude who got nothing, you know, for tons of those dudes, right? So it's motivation, and that's and I'm pretty sure you got a cousin like that who came in and you're like, okay, his perspective is so different, and it flips yours.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, the first time you said that, I was like, oh, yeah, that's my cousin Paul.
Yeah, you're like, yeah. And because remember, he came in and you had to give him your sneakers, your hat. You're like, oh, you know, your cousin Paul's coming. Mm-hmm. I remember, dude, I gave him the motherfucking 1996 Chicago Bulls championship hat.
I see.
And that was my hat, bro. Love that. And then I gave it up to him because, you know, he's my cousin. I loved him. Right. And then we went to like the Six Flags in Canada in Toronto. It was Wonderland. Dude lost it first. And you know what? That was his first roller coaster. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, that was his first roller coaster. Can't hate on him, man. Let him have fun. Yeah, I can't give him, you don't know the etiquette yet.
Right.
You know?
What's up, man?
Yeah.
Take me through your morning routine.
My morning routine.
Yes, sir. It's your move.
Ooh, after you just eat my dude. See, I don't even know what to do. This is fucking.
I feel like, hey, bro, I've been interviewing a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I've been getting hella better at this. Like,
yo, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, this guy eat. Oh, shit. Ouch. See, I feel like, quite the predicament. I don't know. I actually don't know what to do. I think I have to lure you. I think I have to. This Angelo guy, he's I love when you touch a piece. You could tell he plays real chess because I could feel the excitement when I touch certain pieces. He's like, yeah, that one, bro, that one. No,
actually, that would have been a good move, bro.
I know it would have been, but it's like,
you know why? I'll tell you why. Because if you moved here, you'd have been a direct threat to me. That means I have to make a move. I got to either get away.
That's what I'm saying. But to me, it's like then I'm opening up more. This is the 5. This is you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what? Let me go with your recommendation there because I did. That was the first move. You can't deny your gut. Right? What was the question? See. Sorry. The
question was, take me through
your morning routine. Yes, okay, so if I'm on the road, my morning routine is I wake up, I smoke, I wake and bake, and then I'll have breakfast, and then I'll smoke again, and then I either concentrate on things that I have to do. Or as a comedian, because as a comedian does this, I do like I have like writing gigs. Sometimes I have writing deadlines. Sometimes I gotta like do some social media, or I gotta do editing, video editing, or you know what I mean, for social media and shit like that. Or collect invoices, deposits, things of that nature. So like,
speak about that.
Yeah. So, you know, sometimes I gotta negotiate. Well, like I got my own manager that does all that stuff too, but sometimes I have to like do the alley-ooping. Does that make sense? Like I'm like, all right, thanks for reaching out. Da, da, da. I have all these templates that I just copy and paste, and I do all that stuff, and then I just send that. Like a lot of people in my industry don't understand how like admin skills will take you so far. So like I just have this shit. Like I have like copy and paste shit ready, and just this is my rate. Da, 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 da. For any more questions, please reach out to my management. You know what I mean? Like all that shit. So I'm just literally just doing that, or editing, or writing, and then. But if I'm at home, because I got a family, I'm Mrs. Doubtfire at home. So I handle all of my wife, she works, right? So like I'll do the breakfast, cooking, cleaning. I got little twins, 3 years old. So like I'll do like reading story time with them, and like, you know, just anything that stimulates their brain and educates them on a consistent routine. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I'll do. And then I'll get ready for shows, or I put them to a nap around like 12-ish, 1. And then that's when I start my admin shit.
I see.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's but doesn't matter when I'm home or on the road. When I first wake up, wake and bake. So I'm doing all that shit on one.
Side question: what is your favorite strain to wake and bake to?
Right now, my favorite strains is I like the GP20 from Cookies, the Gary Payton. That's a
great strain.
Yeah. So you know, Bay Area, you know what it is, GP20. So yeah, that's my shit right there.
What time of day do you do your best work? Check.
Yes, I see that. I do see that. This is my king, right? Okay. All right. All right. Best work. Once when I wake up, I'm a morning guy. Once I do like I said with the morning routine, I wake up and then I handle all my shit. Like I take care of my family first if I'm at home, and then I take care of myself, or I'll take care of myself and then I go for a nap. You know what I mean? But like a lot of people, especially in my industry, they're so surprised how often I get things done early, because a lot of them don't have families, right? Don't have kids, right? So like I'll message some of my comedian buddies and like, yo, bro, it's 10:30. What are you doing? I'm still sleeping. I'm like, it's 10:30. That I'm almost done making lunch. You know what I mean? So yeah. Right. So yeah. Morning guy.
Morning guy. Awesome. How did you get into the industry you're in?
I got it's 3 and 2, right?
Yeah.
That's okay. How rusty I am. I got I got in trouble a lot when I was a kid. So you know, I got pinched a few times, and I was going through a lot of shit. And my mom was basically like, yo, you got to get your life together, or else I'm fucking giving you the boot, man. And I just finished, like I was just coming off the stint of house arrest. So my mom was like, you've been at home for too long. This is it. So my thing was, there was this program. There's a college program that offered comedy writing and performance. How to be a good comedic writer, how to be a performer, how to be an actor. And I just was like, tuition was cheap too. I was like $4,000 a year. You know what I mean? Two-year program. And I was like, I can't run this. You know what I mean? And plus, like, I always wanted to be a comedian. I just didn't want to be a comedian. Does that make sense? Like I wanted to be funny and do cool stuff, but I didn't want to go out and be a comedian and go through the shit. And then once the first time I went on stage and did it, I realized like, I love this so much that I'll do this shit. It doesn't matter. I'll do it for 2 people, 2,000 people. This is what I want. So that's exactly, I got into it basically to shut my mom up. And the best thing about it is everybody's like, how did you do this with a Filipino mom? Because they must have been like, yo, like become a nurse, engineer, da da da. And then she didn't understand like the open mic process, like the shit to do for free. So every time that I come to calm my mom down, I had to be like, Mom, this is what they taught me at school. And such that would be like, oh, okay. Right, you know what I mean?
Funny,
right? Because they wouldn't never expect, right?
Fucking checkmate.
Right, exactly. Wow. This is what they said at school. You're going out there at bars and you're doing jokes and you're not getting paid. What are you doing? You're sewing your life away. I was like, Mom, this is what they showed me at school.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
So
that's
she,
funny,
yeah. So that was that was the loophole.
God damn. That's fucking good. What is your biggest failure and how did you learn from it? And let me.
Oh man, biggest failure. Shit. There's a lot, man. There's a lot. I told you I got arrested a few times, man. I had a kid early. I wouldn't say all these things are failures, but they're considered, society would consider them like big mistakes. You know what I mean? But it only built me who I was. But yeah, I think, there's so many. I don't know. Like another thing was coming into comedy thinking that you knew everything. Do you know when you have that age where you just, oh, yeah, I know it all. Fuck it. I wasn't as open-minded and as flexible when I first came out because I was also coming in as a freaking ex-dope dealing fucking, you know what I mean? Like ex-con and shit. So like it wasn't like just after all those things of failures, I just learned control the situation. Don't let the situation control you. Because out of all those mistakes, quote unquote mistakes that I made, or things that ended up being negative, was I didn't control the situation. Things were tough, and I let the situation take me over. Right. Yeah. All right.
If someone was interested in getting in your industry, what would you tell them to do or get started doing?
Oh, man. Honestly, it all depends on the person's age. If they were younger, I'd be like, you need to stop being a pussy. Just stop. Like, because comedy and this art form is like, it's hard. I notice a lot of young people trying to be comedians and like they get offended fast and they're like, like, you know what I mean? They're getting like, they don't understand that that editing a video and posting is not enough. Like you have to actually transit and go on stage. You know what I mean? Like it all depends on what your end goal is. Actually, at the end of the day, it all depends. Like some people just want to be TikTok stars all day. They don't want to go and perform, right? If you want to be a performing stand-up comedian, yeah, man, it's built for thick skin. If you're an older person that wants to dive into this and be like, I always want to do it, yeah, man, just don't stop. This shit's gonna shit on you every day. This is an abusive relationship. You have to go through it. You know what I mean? The only thing I tell people is like, just don't stop. If you love it that much, go through the shit and go through it with a smile because it's gonna happen over and over.
What's some of the shit that you go through as a comedian, especially when you're first starting out?
Oh, sleeping in cars, no accommodated gigs, getting paid like shit, eating like shit. You won't have time for a relationship. Your significant other will always think you're cheating because you're out fucking drinking because the shows that you're doing, the performance that you're doing is sorry, is that a two-part question?
It's still your move though.
Yeah, like it sucks. There's a lot of things like you're gonna bomb because you're trying new stuff. You know what I mean? And then when you become good and then you start getting clout, the expectation of you trying new stuff is now harder. Like even when I do shows, because I'm in Canada, like I'm on TV and shit like that, I'll do shows and people will be like, well, but I'm trying stuff at these shows. I'm trying it, and if it doesn't do well, the response is like, why is that guy on TV? Mm-hmm. Why isn't it? It's like it doesn't matter. You have to go through that. Right. Doesn't matter what those people are gonna think. You know what I mean? I know if they're your fans or whatever, but you still have to try that shit. You still have to try it. But like now I'm at a point where like I'll do bigger shows, and then I'll throw in the new shit in the mix of like, there's no, I'm too busy for open mics now.
I see.
So I'll throw shit in big, like, you know what I mean? Like my open mic would be like a smaller show. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't say I'm too big for open mic, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like I can't just sit in a place, try new stuff. I don't have that freedom no more. So I have to try it where I can.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing. It's like, you got to always fucking be sharp on your game with this material. Because even if you have a killer joke, some motherfucker might just turn that shit into a meme. And then you just got to keep it moving. You know, there's times I've done a joke, I posted it, I paid for ads and blah, blah, blah. And then people will come back to me and be like, yo, I just saw this. And I saw your joke in a meme like 3 years later or 2 years later. And I'm like, all right, fuck, now I just got to have a new joke about that topic and just keep it moving. What, am I going to fight the internet and prove that it was my joke? I already posted it 2016. They can do the research if they want.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we back from halftime.
All right.
And let's get right into this.
Go ahead.
What traits and strengths would someone need to be successful in your industry? And I'll do this right there.
Straights and traits. One, you gotta be funny. Gotta be funny.
Given.
You saw that. I was like, yeah. I think I should, yeah. You got to be funny, and you got to be able to take a joke. You know what I mean? There's people out here that go on Roast Battle Canada and, you know, can't take a joke and ask for roast to be removed and not aired. It's disrespectful to the game. But yeah, but you know, it's disrespectful to the game. I mean, it's one person, but whatever. But I mean, like, you can't, like, this game, like, to be a comedian, you gotta have thick skin, man. Yeah. You gotta have thick skin. Look at fucking Chris Rock, man. He's getting slapped on stage, and Dave Chappelle's getting rushed. You gotta be thick skin, and you gotta, because comedy, I'll tell you right now, comedy is the hardest performing art because we can't do covers, right? There's no genre, really. There's no genre with comedy. Like, I gotta make like a 19-year-old white dude laugh at the same thing a 38-year-old black guy laughs at. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta, like, you know, there's no real, you know, when Kendrick does Coachella, it's people who like rap music that are in there. You know, 65-year-old man who's there for a good tune. No, like, people come to comedy clubs for a laugh. So you got to be universal. Like, we can't do covers. We can't, you know, actors have to memorize other people's scripts that they wrote. We got to write our own scripts. We got to pretty much, you know, fucking Snoop could go on tour and do songs from 1996 and people would love him. But, like, you know, Chris Rock can't do old jokes from 1996. And we're like, bro, write something new. You know what I mean? So it's just, you just got to keep moving. It's the hardest craft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't think people see it that way, do they?
No.
What is your sign, and how do you think it attributes to how you are?
Oh, man, we going Zodiac with this. I thought there's going to be more crystals here in the setup. I could do that, right? I think that's what you wanted, though. I feel like that's what you wanted.
It could be.
Well, my sign is a Pisces. What up, though?
Word.
And yes, I do think, because I overthink everything. I'm a big overthinker. I dwell in the past. I do that Doctor Strange shit. Well, I just think of all the other fucking you know, the other realities that didn't happen. But, you know, that's just something that I had to, like, you know, power through. I understood, like, you know, they say Pisces are very emotional, and, like, I'll take shit to heart sometimes. I was like, wow. And that's another thing that I'm telling people, like, you know, if you want to be a comedian, don't be, because I had to power through those fucking emotions. Be like, oh, that guy was just joking. He was just joking. Like, I had to, you have to say that to myself a lot. So, you know what I mean? So, I mean, yeah, I feel like being a Pisces and an overthinking emotional guy was part of it.
What's your birthday?
March 5th.
Oh, very close. On February 27th. I'm Pisces as well.
Yeah, but you know how it is. You feel like, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, people always be like, oh, you're so sensitive. Ever since I was a kid, you're so sensitive. It was like, No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, no.
But then, yeah, you'd be like, oh, I'm not sensitive. And then, you know, I don't know how you are, but sometimes I'd be like, okay, no, that was sensitive. No, that was, I didn't have to, like
more self-aware and shit.
Yeah, you got to be more, it's all about perspective. But also, too, within reason, we were also like, our instinct, like, there's times where you like, nah, man, my gut says to do this. And then, and it worked. Hence, fucking the dope setup. You know what I mean? Like, but you know what I mean? Like, we have this, telekinetic bond with fucking our destiny or something. It's weird.
Right. Oh, yeah. I agree, bro. I definitely agree with that. What do people misunderstand about you the most?
Oh man, that was a good move too, you bastard. Shit. People think I'm an aggressive speaker because I don't like to be passive aggressive. People think like, I feel like nowadays, I was always taught to like, if you had a problem with someone, you address it to them. You know what I mean? And I've worked on like, I've taken a lot of like self discipline, like motivational courses, and like, you know what I mean? Like, and like read a lot of books about tone and how to communicate and negotiate. So it's weird because I'll like be in the softest tone and tell people, like, I'll even like use empathy with them and be like, listen, I understand that you were upset and you're going through a lot and I just didn't like the way you came up to me and said that, or I didn't like the way you were acting. I was pretty immature and insecure and and people are like, what the fuck, Keith? What the fuck, man? Why are you in my face? And I'm like, bro, I'm just toned out. You know, but I think because of the internet. Yeah. People are so used to passive aggressive shit, and people are not used to like just someone just coming up to you and looking into your eyes and telling you like, yo, I have an issue, but not with you, with the situation. And I feel like that's still right. I don't know how you feel, right? I feel like nowadays, that's the one thing I get is because I talk too directly. I'm aggressive.
No, I agree. I think a lot of people today have an issue with quote unquote confrontation when it's face to face. And I know, especially when I've noticed it as the younger and younger generations, the more stuck to the screen they are, they can't keep eye contact, and they like, you know, when they communicate, it's just hard for them. And
you got a kid now, and I feel like you're trying to avoid that. Like I got twins in 2019 for the same age, so I'm like keeping the screen time minimum, and I'm like, no, we
outside,
go play and like communicate with your brother face to face. And yeah, man, I just think it's unfortunate, but whatever.
Yeah, no, I see that though. What is the biggest lesson?
Plus, I'm Ilocano too, man. Like, you know how that is. We're blunt.
They got fire, bro. Ilocano's got fire. You know, like that bark. What's the biggest lesson your career has taught you thus far? And that's check.
Yeah, I know this. I know this is check, you bastard. See if I eat them. Then see, you have a real Bobby Fischer here. Go ahead. Go with the question. Sorry, man. Sorry.
The biggest lesson your career has taught you.
The biggest thing my career has taught me was patience and perspective. Because when I started out, I had a kid early, so I was one of the guys in my crew, like of guys who started in comedy who didn't have, like, who had a kid, and no one had a kid, and you know, and I was dating a girl, and you know, having a family, and like, you know, trying to maintain. It's like people thought I was stupid trying to maintain a family and still become a comedian. It was hard, and with that being said, like all those things ended up becoming advantages for me. Because I can talk about, like, I was this young guy talking about being married. Like, I was 22 years old, complaining about, like, my kids and laundry, but from my point of view, you know what I mean? Like, I had this joke about, like, you know, I'm the type of dad that yells at my kid for not charging the controller. You know what I mean? Like, the first time ever in history. You know what I mean? Like, so shit like that, just, like, relatable things that, like, someone our age at that time would have enjoyed. Like, yeah, how would that be? Like playing PlayStation and your kids like just using up your using up your shit. Like, so I was talking about my son being like my little brother, and that was such a unique comedic voice, right? So Exactly. So I thought these disadvantages that I had, being this Filipino, and I was trying to like, also make, white people and black people laugh, but doing it with with things that they would enjoy, but I wasn't using my own voice because I thought being Filipino was like, oh, we don't have, you know what I mean? We're not represented. So I'm such a disadvantage, but no, being Filipino became a huge advantage because I had a different voice. Me having a kid early had a different, me having a Jamaican stepdaughter had a different voice. Me having, you know what I mean? There were so many things that I had, and being this Canadian Filipino now in the Bay is going to have a different voice. Mm-hmm. I'm coming in here like a few years ago, I would think, oh, I'm just this loser from Canada. Da, 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 da. They're going to think I'm a nerd. This is the Bay Area. These motherfuckers is cool as shit. You know what I mean? But like, and that's the thing. The Bay Area is also like open arms, with anybody. And also like, that's another thing too, where like you always have a different perspective of who do you think is judging you when they're not judging you? So that deals with like more patience as well. Like, it's, you know what I'm saying? Like I thought this will put me as an anchor, but it's lifting me up. So it's all about perspective. Yeah.
You're actually what I would think a Filipino comedian from Toronto would be like. For real. Because I always thought Toronto was like, yo, fucking Toronto. You know what I mean? Like, that's just fucking, it's across the fucking, water, but like, that's just fucking hard. You know what I mean? Like, that was always my perspective of it.
What did you think? Like, okay, so, like, and I'm not, like, I love to know the perspective of, like, so when you see, like, when you said, like, exactly what I feel like a polite person, like, what did you think exactly?
What do you mean?
Like what did you think? Like, when you said, like, I didn't, like, elaborate on your idea. Like, what did you...
Because I think,
and I'm not doing this in a Joe Pesci way. Like, say what you said, bro. No, I'm not doing it that.
I think that a lot of people a lot of people think like when they say, "Oh, I'm Filipino," they think, "Oh, this meek and quiet person," generally speaking, right? And then they'll see someone like me, and they're like, "You're Filipino?"
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, like both of my parents from the Philippines. Yeah, I got dreads, I got tats, got a fucking beard and shit like that. I speak however the fuck I speak.
What is the most thing you get mixed for?
Oh, like Polynesian. Yeah. Or like most recently, someone said, "Oh, you look Dominican." I was like, "Really, Dominican? Like, I've never seen that shit." I've been there. I'm like,
yeah, okay.
Like, black and Mexicans, right?
Okay.
But what do you call it? But my perspective of people from Toronto, I mean, I always thought that it was the fucking hood. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? It is like what New York is, just
in colder.
Yeah, just in Canada, you know what I mean? So,
okay, cool.
That was always what my perspective was. And so
I always thought that we come off looking corny, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
With the help of like Drake popping off too, but like I've always thought like, I don't know.
No, that's cool. No.
Maybe like because that's always been my perspective, and like I've had a family member, family members that moved from Canada over here, and they were different,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Exposed more than it's not like what I think is like, oh, they live in fucking Canada. What is it like? They live in igloos, shit like that.
Okay, yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Oh shit, they have Kumon there too.
Right. Fuck, Kumon. Right, yeah, shit like that. So, but yeah, man, I think that when I think of a Filipino comedian from Toronto, you're exactly what I would think.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. If you could meet 18-year-old self again, what advice would you give you?
18-year-old self, the advice I would give him would be, fuck your friends, man. I'd say, because I was too busy trying to impress my friends. But because none of my friends that I had when I was 18 are my friends now. I probably have like 2 of them. But I've always wanted to get into like music. Like I was always freestyling. I was always acting, trying to do voices, imitations, and like do comedy. But all these guys wanted to just do fuck shit all day. Just chase girls, go to clubs, pop bottles. You know what I mean? Yeah, and do like trap and do all this shit. Just boosting, scamming. You know what I mean? Doing whatever. But just like. And at the same time, it was like you had that loyalty because you're my friend. You helped me when I was like I said, I just hung with the OGs, like older heads. So I was like, oh, because you took care of me when I was dead ass. Like, you know what I mean? I should be loyal to you, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll just say, fuck your friends, man. Fuck your friends, man. Dude, chase your heart.
Just kind of like piggyback off of that, man. I think that happens a lot to a lot of kids that age, like 16 to 18, or even like I would say like 16 to like 21. Even a lot of the approval that you're seeking is from people who are very, very temporary in your life and don't really have the only commonality was the proximity of them. You know,
well, I'll tell you the truth, man. My move.
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you the truth, dude. There's always this spoken bomb where you don't snitch or whatever. But like when I was 18, so I'll tell you the story how, the last time I went to the Bay to perform, they shut it down because I had some priors. So, but one of those priors was me taking the fall for somebody. Like something went down. I kept my name closed because I had priors. My name showed up. So they just came at me, right? So when they came at me, I was just like, nah, I'm staying, 10 toes down, bro. Like, no, I'm not. And then that slowed me down to be where I am now. Because I held it down for those guys. And as much as I stay true to like, yo, don't snitch and whatever, like stay true. But like, understand who's your friend though. You know what I mean? Because those guys, they weren't even, I look at that, they weren't even my friends, man. Yeah. There was more just acquaintances. None of those motherfuckers knew my birthdays, knew my mom. If it was for my road dogs, for my day ones, for sure. But like, can't be doing that for your acquaintance. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
The
folks you do licks with, or the folks that you be.
Exactly, man. We never starved together, bro. So
if you were given $10 million right now, what would you do with it?
Oh man, I would help people with 9 million because all I need is one. All I need is one, dude. You know what I mean? But that is probably a bullshit answer. I'll probably take 8 and help. And help. I would love to help. I want to help a lot. You know what I mean? I think I would invest a lot of that money, and because I'll be honest with you, man. Like I'm very happy right now. And I don't see how, I could buy a bigger house. That's cool. But that's the only thing where like, because I got twins and everything, I live in a condo in Toronto. So a nice backyard would be nice. But I think after that, like, bro, nothing. I don't see like a Lamborghini making me happier. I don't see a yacht making me happier, if that makes sense. Or like designer suits making me happier. I'm good with what? I'm easy, bro. So I would love to help.
How did you get to that point that even if you had $10 million, you would still be content?
Because I've been broke, bro. Not content. Because right now, like I've been broke. I've been hustling, dude. You know what I mean? Sleeping in cars, park benches. I've been broke where I know that, sometimes you've been the happiest when you're broke, and sometimes I've made money and good money. And like, yeah, it's cool. Like money really what it does for people in my industry, it just buys you more freedom, buys you more time to isolate yourself. Okay, now let me get a bigger suite in my hotel so no one can bug me. You're just buying more things to isolate yourself. Right. And shit like that, like if a show's downtown, I want to be posted up in the burbs. I don't want to fucking, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like you're just paying more luxuries for isolation time for me personally. But yeah, it's just all about like I said, like I dude, there's a lot of shit that were like I lost a lot of things and I realized, to be grateful and like, dude, I just want to see my people around in my life happy. Like it's a tight circle. I've seen people come and go in my life like revolving doors, right? So I know how life is, and there's people going to hit you with fake smiles, and people are going to hit you with fake daps, and like whatever. I see right through all that nonsense. So money, I know right now, especially coming from like my mom who held it down, and then watching my dad fall apart because he tried to make money to make him look like something else. My dad's the type of guy that like. He was a fucking bum, bro. You know what I mean? But he's stunting. He would come in a Prada suit with nothing, with fucking no car. He just came from a taxi that he had to like pay in like food coupons. You know what I mean? He stunts. So I saw how money makes an image for people. So I'm just like, I don't like that. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, this is kind of a 3-part question. What do you think the world will be like in 5 years? The world in general, the comedy world, and your world. And I'm going to do...
Okay. That's a really good question.
That.
Okay. I didn't even know. Wow. Okay. Oh, shit. All right. This guy did a nice switcheroo. Shit. Okay. All right. 5 years with my family. Hopefully I want, you know, shout out to my management team here. They got me some working papers. So now you can probably see me more in California. So hopefully in 5 years I'll be living out here with my family and you know, doing more comedy and breaking my way into the market here. 5 years in the comedy world and the world, because they say that every generation flips like a decade, right? So like they had, you know, like there's always a PC era, then there's always a rebellion era. There's always like, you know, like the 70s and the 80s, you know, the 60s. We've seen all this, like it from going from fucking righteous to fuck the man, fuck this shit. You know what I mean? Because when we were growing up, I'm pretty sure we were the same age, right? You, what are you?
31.
31? Okay, different. It was same, yeah, around there. But like comedy when I was growing up was, you know, you say any word you want. I feel like, and that's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong saying that's better or that's worse. I just think now it's, you got to tiptoe on things. But I honestly think it's going to change. That's going to change. I think in 5 years, I think people are going to be too sick of this cancel culture and this PC that like this new generation are just going to be like, and I have a son, I have a daughter who's 20, who's woke and very woke. And then my son who's 16, who's the opposite. Him and his friends are savages, bro. The shit they say when he's playing video games, this shit. And I'm just like, whew. I'm like, bro, we got neighbors, dude. We got neighbors. But you know what I'm saying? And hanging out with them, like I'll see him hanging out with his friend. I see the dynamic. And it's not just his friends, it's the generation, right? They're more rebellious now. They're more like, nah, we're tired of your what we can and can't say shit. We're tired of your PC shit. We're tired of, you know? So I think it's going to change. That's me, what I see from my house. Yeah. And statistically.
What do you want to be remembered for?
Take that. I feel like you're letting me win. Or no, this is a tactic. What I honestly want to be remembered for is I want to be remembered for the guy who how can I say this? Who won on and off the court.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
I did it with my family with me, but I want my kids to see me as a hero, and like, you know, not as a hero. Like, you know, I want respect for my family. I want to keep my family together. Coming from a guy from a broken home, I want me and my wife and my kids to be together, but also successfully. Good communication. Guy who helped out like everybody. Like I want to, like, how can I say this? Like when Bill Russell died, people had so many things good to say about him when he did off the court. Like I just don't want to be remembered as a comedian. I want to be a guy who took his God-given skill, used it to his best potential, and made it work for everybody. Like I want to be rich enough to start foundations and like help people and like, you know, go back home, Philippines, and just fucking exactly how I talk about how there's kids like us who don't have, like, you know, I saw a kid in Boracay build a fucking sandcastle from nothing, getting scraps. And he asking people, what do you want? And he was building it with his hand from nothing. Yeah. I would love to just go back there and hand that guy a MacBook Pro and a fucking, you know what I mean? And like Adobe Premiere's like, you got the whole thing, man. You're good. Go fucking be a fucking designer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, go give, like he has the talent that God gave him, but he can't do anything with it. And there's millions of people like that. Right. And I just don't want to do that with Philippines. I'll do that with Cambodia, Guam, freaking fucking Compton. I want to do it everywhere. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then this is my final question.
So if we don't finish the game, do we start like the whole questions over? Can we do it again? Or we repeat?
Oh, no.
No, do a set of questions.
What is your next 5 moves?
My next 5 moves. I like how you're a comedian too. You did full circle. I like that. You did a full circle. You did a full circle while you set me up to eat my dude. I see what you're doing here. Angelo, you're smart, pal. Oh, shit. Which one? Okay. Next 5 moves is first move is making sure my twin babies grow up development-wise. They reach all the nice goals, academically, education-wise, development-wise, build a good relationship with me, you know, to a point where, like, because the thing with me is, like, I hate how dads are looked at. You know what I mean? Like, especially ethnic dads, we're not the best in media. So I want to, like, make sure my kids have a good, my baby twins and my big kids have a good relationship with me. And then second move is to keep doing what I'm doing. Third move is do what I'm doing, but do it better. Fourth move is do it in places that I haven't done it, you know, like go on tour and shit like that. And then the fifth move is making sure I'm situated in California or living in the States and just blessing y'all with more of me.
Absolutely, man. Awesome, Keith. Hey, man, where can the people find you, brother?
At Keith Pedro is my Instagram. Keith.Pedro is my TikTok. And I got my Facebook fan page, so Facebook / Keith Pedro Comedy. And yeah, check all that stuff up. And then as you can see, man, we got I got a new OnlyFans coming out in this hotel. $16.99 a month.
Make sure you subscribe.
It's all foot stuff though. It's all foot stuff. No, okay.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Yo, much love, man. Thank you for having me, bro. Congrats on everything you're doing, man. This is dope.
Absolutely. Thank you, bro.
Yeah.